Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to give you my first impression on Ijin and 003, the two new collab units. I will start with Ijin and I will talk about how I feel about him, and then we're going to look at the skills, exotic and revolution. And about Ijin, I will say he's not a bad unit, he's kind of okay, his damage is not crazy high, but it's definitely there, especially if you can give him at least orange 4. Before then, he's kind of meh average. And he also has really good utility because he has HP recovery block in the kit and also an energy decrease, which can be extremely useful early on. And he has some sort of okay survivability. He has damage taken decrease in his kit, and he also has a lot of evasion. So overall, he's not a bad unit. He's an okay frontline unit. I wouldn't go as far as say he's going to be a good DPS. He can work as a DPS. I tried him out by linking him to my white. So I had him with basically all the sub nodes level 20. And he could deal okay damage. He could survive fine. But if you really want him to deal damage, you really have to build the team 100% around him. And I don't know. I'm still not sure this guy would perform better than some of the other red options that we have. Still, he's solid. He can definitely be a valuable unit if you don't have any other alternatives at the moment. If you don't have Evankel, Viol, or Jinsung leveled up and you have the resources, this guy might be a cheaper way to actually have a sort of DPS in your red team. But to fulfill the DPS role, you kind of want Albelda with him, so that's a bit restrictive, but it's okay. I mean, this guy is not a bad unit, but it's not exceptional, so keep that in mind. From my point of view, from just some first early impressions, he might be around the S rank kind of level at Rainbow 5. Before then, A plus or maybe S already, just because of the utility that he provides and not much because of the damage. So yeah, that's more or less my point of view. Again, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about him if you used him. And now we can just have a quick look at the skills. We have the passive that is going to boost his attack for every single red element ally you have in the team, up to 200%. And then his damage taken is going to be decreased by up to 80% for every surviving ally other than himself. And whenever they die, they will, lose a stack of damage taken decrease, but it will gain a stack of physical piercing increase, again up to 80%. So not a bad passive, especially because it cannot be removed with buff removal skills. So these are good attack increase and also some good survivability as long as you have a team. So yeah, really good passive. Then we have the first active skill that he cast at the beginning of the battle, and is going to be invincible, dash at the enemy that's on the other side. Is not a mirroring dash like for example a Michael. This is just going to run straight, so it will hit someone in the front line. That's the only restriction, but okay. Then he's going to stun them for 4 seconds and block their HP recovery for 4 seconds at level 1 and 8 seconds at level 5. After using the skill, Ijin will evade all enemy skills for the same duration as the HP recovery block, so 4 seconds level 1, 8 seconds level 5. And this utility alone is already amazing, plus the exclusive equipment will give him a 500 energy reduction on the enemy hit, which is really strong. So yeah, this skill alone makes him pretty valuable even if it doesn't deal any damage. So yeah, I really like this one. Then we have the next one, which on the other end is pretty useless unless he's at least orange 4, because this is just going to be a damage on an AoE on the enemies around and will make them bleed for 10 seconds, further dealing damage. And he's also immune while using the skill just because he cannot be interrupted, blah blah blah, whatever. but this is just pure damage and bleed, and if you don't have Revolution 4 is almost irrelevant. Then we have the special move. It's going to deal AoE damage 5 times, then throw a grenade to deal further AoE damage, and then send enemies airborne. The total multipliers are like 2800, which is pretty high, and then enemies are also going to be bleeding for 6 seconds, dealing some more damage every second. So the multipliers are pretty high. We need to remember he's a warrior, so he doesn't have a lot of starting attack, but he also has a passive that kind of make up for it. So the damage is going to be actually pretty solid, but not as good as it might seem. Afterwards, he's going to increase his evasion by 60% for 8 seconds, and is going to evade all attack while using this special move. So good survivability here, good damage, good AoE, good CC. Overall, not bad at all. And yeah, then we can just read the exclusive equipment. The first 2 levels are going to increase the damage of the bleed from the skill that I mentioned before that's kind of useless. And the bleed, instead of lasting for 10 seconds, is going to last for 15. Fine. We have level 3 that is pretty good. Every 6 seconds it can get 300 energy when successfully evading, which is going to do a lot of, so really good. Level 4 is the thing I mentioned before. With the dash is going to also decrease energy by 500 on the target, so really strong. A really good exclusive equipment other for the first 2 levels, but they will come in handy at Orange 4 or above. And talking about Orange 4 and Revolution 4, let's just have a look at those. And we can see here Revolution 4 is Bond is enhanced, making all damage dealt to bleeding enemies result in crit hits. This is not like Kaiser that is a 100% crit rate increase. This is guaranteed crits. So it doesn't matter if the enemy has 300% crit hit resistance, you're critting against them, which is really good. So from this point onwards, this guy can deal damage. Not super insane amounts, but he can deal damage. And also this gives you access to the crit damage increase node, which makes total sense with these guaranteed crits on Revolution 4. So really good. Then we have Revolution 5. This is up to 300% attack increase after he uses the special move, based on how many enemies he can make bleed with the special move. 60% for 10 seconds for each of them. I would say it's unrealistic to think about hitting 5 enemies with one single special move, because you cannot really hit enemies in the backline. So you will have to rely on casting the special move multiple times. But yeah, overall really good. You have 500% attack increase in the kit alone. Not much to say on this guy. He definitely has potential. I wouldn't overhype him, because he's not really going to deal insane amounts of damage. His survivability is not even going to be that insane. He died for me a few times, even though my deficit is pretty low. After he loses a few allies, so his damage taken decrease goes down, and is hit for some reason because his evasion is not guaranteeing 100% dodge. So you will get hit, and when it does, it kind of explodes as well. So not too excited at the moment. He's good, but he's not insane. So yeah, that's more or less my opinion on him. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that guy. But yeah, that's more or less it. I would say we can do the same for 003. And her case is a bit different. She's a support, so that's already a good thing, I would say. She has good buffs. My main issue with her is that I cannot find a way to keep her alive. That could be because she's not Rainbow 5, so she doesn't have access to an early special move, and the special move has sort of invincibility attached to it. So that could be one of the reasons, but I find my 003 dying at like 5 seconds into the fight most of the times, which is super annoying. I was fighting some annoying teams, could be, but again, my deficit is pretty low, and if I'm having issues, I don't know other people. And the thing is, she's a mostly red unit. Actually, you should basically only use her in red teams. The other colors would only leverage the attack coefficient increase in the exclusive equipment, I believe, and the defense shred, which is not nothing, but still not as good as playing her in a red team. And red team doesn't have the units to keep her alive that well, because red team only has Albelda, which you are not going to link to 003, and you have Anak, which is not going to link to 003 anyway. So you don't really have a lot of ways to keep her alive, just positioning and hoping that the enemies won't attack her. So if she stays alive, she's amazing. If she doesn't, well, she's useless, obviously, because a dead support cannot support anybody. But yeah. Enough said, we can just have a look at the kit. The passive is a really good portion of her utility. She's going to target the same enemy as your highest attack unit, and yeah, basically guarantees that she's going to ignore everyone else and attack that target. Enemies hit by 003's attack become distracted, decreasing their defense by 50%. This is really, really good. But whenever an ally attacks a distracted enemy, they're going to remove the distracted state and also increase the damage that the red element, like decrease the enemy red element resistance. Really good multiplier. And yeah, super solid. Unfortunately, it's not 50% level 1. I don't even remember how low it was actually. But yeah, a level 5 is pretty solid. Then we have the first active skill that I don't particularly like. It's just a swiftness increase and lifesteal increase on the ally with the highest attack and herself for 15 seconds. The duration is good, but the buff is just average. The swiftness is nice, the lifesteal, kinda useless, but okay. Then we have Desperado, the second active skill. She's going to request air support that is going to land near the ally with the highest attack, which is a bit restrictive and also not really synergizing well with a unit like Alice, that is going to be the next SSR plus unit, that is always targeting the enemy furthest away, and this one is hitting the enemy closest to her basically. So kinda weird choice, but still okay. And it's going to stun those enemies hit by this kind of barrage for 3 seconds, and also decrease their defense by 40% for 10 seconds, max 2 stacks. And yeah, it's overall solid, and you can also get a nice defense decrease on top, some CC, but nothing too insane here. Then we have the special move. She's just going to take sort of a sniping stance kind of thing, and she's going to shoot 20 times in a straight line, and all the enemies that are hit by this will have this passive proc, so they will become distracted, which is really good. And while shooting, which is taking a few seconds depending on how much swiftness you have, so the more swiftness, the shorter the duration of this whole thing. And she's immune to such effects, and her HP cannot drop below 1 while the skill is in effect, which is a good thing. But again, mine dies frequently before she can even cast it, so I don't know. And yeah, I would say we can go over the exclusive equipment quickly. She gains lifesteal. I don't really like this that much, especially since she already has lifesteal in her kit, but okay. Level 1 gives her 70% of her max HP after the special move ends, so after it's over, you're at least at 70% of your max HP, which is good, but most of the time she might still die before she can cast the next one. Level 2 is a good increase for every team where you might want to run her, because she's going to increase the attack coefficient by 100% when attacking distracted enemies. Really good. This is not restricted to red alone, but again, she really has a lot of utility for red units, so I wouldn't run her in other teams. Then she has some sort of energy recovery based on how many hits she lands with the barrage skill, the Desperado skill. So it's good. Should be up to like 150 or a bit more if you have Revolution 4. But no real testing on this. I don't really have the actual number that you can get up to. But it's okay. It's a nice energy refund so that you can hopefully chain your special moves and stay alive, which is what's really important. Then we have level 4, is sort of a second life with her check skill, which is the lifesteal and swiftness buff to the highest attack ally and herself. It's okay. I don't think it has iframes. I haven't checked. If you did, please let me know in the comments down below, but it's okay. It's like a free bergamot on yourself and should also affect the ally with the highest attack. Can only be procced once per special round though. And for the revolution, let's have a quick look. We have Revolution 4, which is going to increase another missile barrage when the Desperado skill ends, which, like, I just unlocked it. I haven't really tried her much. If it's like starting the same barrage a second time, which would mean 10 hits in total, but also 2 procs of the defense decrease, that would be pretty good. If it's not like this and it's just taking from 5 hits to 6, then it won't matter basically at all. So I don't know. Unless that 6th hit is again proccing the defense decrease, but I'm not sure. Then we have Revolution 5 that's improving the passive a bit more, and each time an enemy is distracted by the passive, red element allies attack increases by 20% max 10 stacks, so up to 200%. And as I mentioned before, the special move procs it. So if your units can keep on removing quickly enough the distracted effect on the enemy, then you can get a shit ton of stacks from the special move alone. And that's pretty good. So overall, the kits are solid, but my main concern is survivability, especially for 003. So yeah, this is more or less what I could say as a first impression. In terms of ignition weapons, I didn't mention them for Ijin, but his ignition weapon will be either Alocasia or Rafflesia. They will both work fine. I think Alocasia is a bit better if you have Orange 4 or higher. Otherwise, you might want to go with a Rafflesia. I don't know, but they will both work fine. And for 003, to be honest, just run whatever can keep her alive. Be it Sela or some sort of idea, maybe even. If you have a Rainbow 5 and you can chain 2 special moves together, that's pretty good. Or Runda, Doris, Rafflesia as well. Up to you. Just give her a lot of resistances. This girl needs to be alive, otherwise it's pretty worthless. So yeah guys, that's pretty much all. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these 2 units and the collab in general. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!